All right, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Rakah, Quadash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone wow, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom, wa, abba, babal. So, right now what we have going on with Donald J. Trump, which is really Nero reincarnated. All right, with him, signing all his executive orders, changing the laws. All right, this ain't nothing new. All right, it says in the scriptures in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. There is no new thing under the sun, because the same spirits are reincarnated. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which was before us. Like Trump signing all these executive orders, all right? Because when these Edomites come down with wrath, all right, that's what they do. They'll start signing executive orders. They can, pretty much they have the right, which really they were given the right from Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai to do what they do on the left-hand side. All right? But there's nothing new under the sun happening. It says in verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which was before us, All right? So it says, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So when you're reincarnated, you're born without knowing nothing, and you're taught everything, right? And that's why the Israelites are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because they're not being taught correctly under the so-called white man, the red devil the Bible speaks of. All right. And now this devil comes down with great wrath, knowing that he had but a short time. And as you saw, King Trump signing executive orders, right? Changing the laws. Well, this is what they've done in the past. All right. It's called I don't even want to call it that. But in First Maccabees 8, all right, as it said, the Roman-Jew treaty. All right. You can read about it in Maccabees, in the First Maccabees, chapter 8. All right. It says in verse 1, Judas had heard, and this is the GNT version, Judas had heard about the Romans and their reputation as a military power, which America is the reincarnation of Rome today. And he knew that they welcomed all those who joined them as allies, which that's what they do. Right? They want to make everybody their ally. United Nations, but even the European Union, which is the beast. They have NATO. It says, and that those who came to them could be sure of the friendship of Rome. People had told them about the wars the Romans had fought and their heroic acts among the Gauls, whom they had conquered and forced to pay taxes. And that's what's happening right now, right? Everyone is pretty much forced to pay taxes. The Israelites are enslaved and subject to payment. See? He had been told what they had done in Spain when they captured the silver mines and the gold mines there. By careful planning and persistence, they had conquered the whole country. And that's what America has done. They've conquered the whole world, even though it was far from Rome. And that's what America does. They're all up in everybody's business. Look at Vietnam. I was watching a movie about Vietnam, and this dude was dying, and he was like, I'm dying for your freedoms. But what the fuck you doing in Vietnam? Right? Because that's the spirit of Rome. All right? It says, They had overcome the kings from distant lands who had fought against them. They had defeated them so badly that the survivors had to pay annual taxes. Once again, who's doing that? America. They had fought and conquered Philip and Perseus. It says, and Perseus, kings of Macedonia, and all who had joined them against Rome, which the Greeks were in power, then the Romans. But they're both Edomites. They had even defeated Antiochus, the great king of Syria, who had attacked them with 120 elephants, cavalry, chariots, and a powerful army. They took him alive and forced him and his successors to pay heavy taxes, to give hostages, and to surrender India, Media, Lydia, and some of their best lands. They took these and gave them to King Eumenes, a Greek general. Eumenes. It says in verse 9, when the Greeks made plans to attack and destroy them, the Romans learned of the plan and set a general to fight against them. The Romans killed many of the Greeks, which it says that they'll kill each other, the Edomites, the so-called white race, took their wives and their children captive, plundered their possessions, occupied their land, tore down their fortresses, and made them slaves as they are today. They also destroyed or made slaves of other kingdoms, which the Greeks were originally Japheth, right? The Romans were originally Japheth, but then when you had the so-called white race come upon them, they conquered them and took their land, took their culture. This is why we call them culture vultures, all right? They really have no culture but murder, the so-called white race, which they do today. It says, they also destroyed and made slaves of other kingdoms, which that's what they did to us, the Israelites, the islands, which were Japheth, and everyone who had ever fought against them. But they maintained their friendship with their allies and those who relied on them for protection. They conquered kings near and far, and everyone who heard of their reputation was afraid of them. And that's what it is today. Who could make war with that beast? Talking about America and the European Union, which they have NATO. They helped some men to become kings, and they deposed others, which that's what they do. That's what they did in these other countries. They did coups. Coup, look that word up, coup. All right, they did military coups, political coups. It says they had become a world power, and that's what America is. America is a world power. In spite of all this, no Roman ever tried to advance his own position by wearing a crown or putting on royal robes. They created a Senate, which you have today in America, and each day 320 senators came together to deliberate about the affairs of the people and their well-being. And that's what America does. That's why they have two horns like a lamb, Revelation 13 and 11. Two horns like a lamb, all right, because they act like they're looking out for everybody's well-being, the Republican and the Democrat. But it says they speak as a dragon. They bring forth draconian law. Each year they entrusted to one man the responsibility of governing them and controlling their whole territory, which today you have a president, which now he is a king, he is Caesar. Everyone obeyed this one man, and there was no envy or jealousy among them. All right. So as you see right here, it says, verse 17, Judas chose Epolemus, the son of John and grandson of Achas, and Jason, son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make a treaty of friendship and alliance with the Romans, right? But you got Jake doing this now. You know, they're asking for peace with these Edomites. He did this to eliminate Syrian oppression, since the Jews, which were Israelites, clearly saw that they were being reduced to slavery. See? But in this time, there ain't going to be no peace treaty, because they're going to make it mandatory that you have an implantable microchip. All right? They're trying to reduce us into slavery, but they shall not take us into slavery anymore, as it prophesied in Lamentations 4. It says, after a long and difficult journey, Eupolemus and Jason reached Rome and entered the Senate. They addressed the assembly in these terms: Judas Maccabeus, his brothers, and the Israelite people have sent us here to make a mutual defense treaty with you, so that we may be officially recorded as your friends and allies, which you see we're not in the books today because they broke this treaty. All right, that's my point of this video. They break their treaties. Never trust thine enemy. It says the Romans accepted the proposal, and what follows is a copy of the letter, which was engraved on bronze tablets and sent to Jerusalem to remain there as a record of the treaty. May things go well forever, the Romans and for the Israelites nation, on the land and sea. May they never have enemies, and may they never go to war. But if war is declared first against Rome, or there are any of her allies anywhere, the Israelite nation will come to her aid with wholehearted support as the situation may require. And to those at war with her, the Jews, shall not give or supply food, arms, money, or ships, as was agreed in Rome. See, they're not supposed to fund anything against us. But see, they're running campaigns against the Israelites. See? So they broke their treaty. It says the Jews must carry out their obligations without receiving anything in return. In the same way, if war is declared first against the Israelite nation, the Romans will come to their aid with hearty support as the situation may require. And to their enemies shall not be given of, it says, or supplied food, arms, money, or ships, as was agreed in Rome. The Romans must carry out obligations without deception. But they broke this oath, because what are they bringing today? Deception. They're going to try to deceive you into taking an implantable microchip, the mark of the beast. It says, these are the terms of the treaty that the Romans have made with the Israelite people. But if in the future both parties shall agree to add or remove anything, they shall act on their own decision, and whatever they added or shall remove shall be valid. Further, concerning the wrongs which King Demetrius is doing against the Jews, we have written him as follows. Why have you treated our friends and allies, the Jews, so harshly? If they complain to us about you one more time, we will support their cause and go to war against you on land and sea. But they broke that. They broke the oath. All right, they broke it. Let's see what it says in 9. All right, now they're coming to war against us. They're declaring war with us, the Roman, Edomite. Now they call themselves the Americans, the European. All right? Yeah, that was the end of that. But I just wanted to show you how they broke the oath. Never trust your enemy. Never trust your enemy. You know how many times this so-called white man broke a treaty? You know? Every time he speaks, he's lying. Look, this is just with one tribe, the Gadites, right? The North American Indians, which are the tribe of Gad of Israel. All right? That we just read was with the Jew, because it was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right? But look at this with the Northern Kingdom, the North American Indians. According to historical records, the government broke nearly all treaties made with Native American tribes. Broke all treaties made with Native American tribes. Never trust your enemy. Here you go. And this is with the Mexicans, the tribe of Issachar. The U.S. government has been accused of breaking promises made in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which ended the Mexican-American War in 1848, which just happened today. I was reading about this today. All right, and the treaty. All right, it says the treaty promised that former Mexican citizens could become U.S. citizens with full rights. See? But they broke this treaty, and they're breaking it now. It says at the bottom, however, some say that the U.S. government has broken these promises. And they've done this to all the tribes. Once again, never trust your enemy. And who's your arch enemy? The so-called white race, the red devils the Bible speaks of. Saying I was looking up, like I said another time, I like to look up every day the events and the inventions, all right, from the past. And it shows you right here on February 2nd, which today is February 2nd, 2025, the year of judgment, right? The destruction of the Edomite and his kingdom, and the salvation of the Israelite, which is the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now it says here in 1848, February 2nd, Mexican-American War, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which, once again, they broke this. They broke this. Look, Treaty of Peace, Friendship, Limits, and Settlement between the United States of America and the United Mexican States. Once again, they broke this treaty. See? So never trust your enemy. Shalom to the elect. Wa abba.